Have you ever stopped to wonder what's really going on behind the scenes to keep your digital life safe? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back that curtain. We're diving into the core ideas behind computer security, the stuff everyone really ought to know in our super connected world. Let's get right into it.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Cybersecurity isn't some niche technical issue for big companies anymore. Nope. It's about protecting the very systems that we all depend on every single day. We're talking about everything from our banking apps and the power grid to local hospitals. And that's exactly why getting a handle on these basics is so important for all of us.
All right, so let's ask the big question. What are we actually talking about when we say computer security? It sounds pretty straightforward, but the official definition gives us a really solid and, honestly, a powerful framework for everything that's going to follow. Now, I know that sounds a little textbooky, but hang with me. It's about so much more than just keeping the bad guys out. See that keyword right there? Protection. It's a proactive game, and it's all designed to hit three very specific goals for our information resources. And by resources, I mean everything: the hardware, the software, and of course, the data itself. So let's break down those three main goals. Okay, these three objectives, they are the absolute heart and soul of computer security. In the biz, professionals call them the CIA triad. And I promise you, once you get this concept, you are going to start seeing security in a completely new light. So what does CIA stand for? We're talking confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These are the three pillars, the bedrock of computer security. I love thinking about it like a three-legged stool. You see where I'm going with this, right? If any one of those legs gets wobbly or breaks, the whole stool just collapses. First up, we've got confidentiality. The easiest way to think about this? It's about keeping secrets. Let's imagine your data is like a personal diary. Confidentiality is the simple promise that only you, the authorized person, can read what's inside. It's all about preventing anyone else from getting a peek. Next up, integrity. So let's go back to that diary. Integrity means that nobody can sneak in and change your words or rip out a page or try to forge your handwriting. It's all about ensuring that your information is trustworthy and exactly as you left it, that it hasn't been messed with. And the final piece of the puzzle is availability. This one's pretty simple. You need to be able to open and read your diary whenever you want to. I mean, what good is it if someone steals it or locks it in a box and chucks the key? Its availability has been totally compromised. The system has to work and the information has to be there when you, an authorized user, need it. And this table just lays it all out perfectly. Each pillar of that CIA triad has a super clear goal and a really serious consequence if it fails. You lose confidentiality, your secrets are out in the open. You lose integrity, you can't trust your own data, and if you lose availability, well, you're just cut off from the things you need. It really is a constant balancing act to keep all three of those pillars strong. So, now that we know our goals, the what, let's talk about the battlefield. Because to really get a grip on cybersecurity, you need to know what you're protecting, your assets, and what you're protecting them from, the threats and attacks. You know, when we say assets, it sounds all corporate and stuffy, but it's not. It's personal. Your hardware, that's your phone, your laptop. Your software, that's the apps you use every single day. And your data, come on, that's your photos, your emails, your most important documents. These are the things that need protection. And this slide shows you exactly how our stuff is vulnerable through the lens of that CIA triad. Just think about your laptop. If someone steals it, poof, you've lost availability. And if that thief can then get in and read your files, now you've lost confidentiality. Or think about software. If some malicious code gets injected into an app, that's a direct attack on its integrity. If it gets deleted, boom, attack on availability. You see? Every single asset has its own unique weak spots. Okay, so knowing the threats is one thing, but how do we actually build systems that can stand up to them? Well, it's not about just buying some magic piece of software. It's about thinking strategically, and that means following some time-tested design principles. First up is what's called economy of mechanism. It sounds fancy, but it's basically just the keep it simple rule. And why is that so important? Well, because complex systems are way harder to understand, they're harder to test, and they have all these little hidden corners where bugs and vulnerabilities can hide. A simple, clean design is just so much easier to secure. Okay, this next one is a huge one. Fail-safe defaults. All this means is that your system's default answer to any request for access should be a flat no. You have to grant permissions explicitly, one by one. Think about it. You don't start with all the doors and windows of your house wide open and then lock just a few. No, you start with everything locked down tight, and you only open what is absolutely necessary.
And that leads us perfectly to the principle of least privilege. This is the idea that any user, or heck, even a program on your computer, should only have the bare minimum permissions it needs to do its job, and absolutely nothing more. So your company's social media manager, sure, they need access to post on Twitter, but they definitely don't need access to the company's private financial records. This way, if their account ever gets compromised, the damage is contained.
Look, there is no single magic bullet in cybersecurity. That's where defense in depth comes into play. It's all about building layers of security, kind of like a medieval castle, right? You've got the moat, then the high walls, then the guards on the towers, and then the keep. If an attacker manages to get past one defense, they're immediately staring down another one. It's layers, from your network firewall all the way down to encrypting the data itself. Each layer just makes the whole system stronger.
So, after all this, what's the big takeaway? It's that security isn't some product you can just go out and buy, or a setting you can just set and forget. Not at all. It's an ongoing process. It's a strategy that has to constantly evolve and adapt as new threats pop up.
I love this quote because it perfectly frames the reality here. This is a dynamic, human-driven contest. It really is an ongoing chess match, where one side is relentlessly looking for just a single mistake, while the other side has to defend the entire board all the time.
And that really brings us to a tough final thought. In this high-stakes game, the attacker only needs to find one tiny crack, one single weakness, while the defender has to be perfect, always. So who do you think really has the advantage here? It's the fundamental, maybe even frustrating question at the very heart of cybersecurity. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.